Human trafficking is the second most profitable crime in the world. Internationally, an estimated 27 million children and adults are currently in some form of labor exploitation or sex slavery. In many countries, the penalties for this crime are negligible in contrast to the vast profits which can be made. According to the Polaris Project, an organization dedicated to monitoring international human trafficking, an estimated $32 billion per year in illegal profit is generated through the sale of humans. Many traffickers lure potential victims with the promise of a legitimate job and prey on people from economically depressed areas where there are few opportunities to obtain employment. Often the victims are the ones who are penalized by law enforcement officials who do not recognize trafficking as a crime and are often unable to identify children and adults who are the victims of coercion, violence, and forced labor. After receiving false promises of employment or educational opportunities, it is only when the victim arrives at their destination that they discover the true nature of the trafficker's motives and find themselves trapped in a life of forced labor or prostitution. Human trafficking is the process of moving people into slavery, working under threat of violence for little or no pay. Victims are targeted from countries around the world, from Asia to South America to Eastern Europe, and are trafficked to work in brothels, sweatshops, agriculture, domestic labor, and other forms of industry. Trafficking is often seen as a trans-border issue, but in fact it extends to the exploitation of domestic victims as well. In the United States, organized criminals prey on women and children from vulnerable populations in low-income areas who they deem to be easy to manipulate, intimidate, and exploit. Runaways and those who come from families with domestic or housing issues are at high risk of exploitation. Children who are in care may also be targeted by individuals or gangs who are looking for easy victims. Each victim can net a criminal up to $67,000 per year in profits. Domestic trafficking of this type can be across state borders or even within the same city. The lack of awareness on the part of law enforcement officials means that victims are more likely to be arrested than those responsible for trafficking. This makes it difficult or impossible to obtain evidence and testimony that would enable the prosecution of the criminals who profit from this multi-billion-dollar industry. If someone cannot leave their place of employment, does not have control of their own finances, doesn't possess identification, and shows signs of physical, emotional, or sexual abuse, it is possible that they are a victim of human trafficking. If you suspect trafficking in your area, do not attempt to confront the perpetrators yourself. Please contact the National Trafficking Information and Referral Hotline on 1-888-373-3888. Together we can make modern-day slavery history.